Welcome to the Dynasty Deep Dive, where we go beyond the surface into depths unknown. I'm joined by a very enthusiastic and special guest, John Lobb. How you doing today, John?
I'm doing great, man. What are we, about 2.5 weeks since the draft? I've got 3 rookie dynasty drafts going on right now. One's a monster, 36 teams, but
Wow.
it's 2 conferences, and it is an IDP, 20 weekly starters. I love it. I just took
Wow.
Malachi Starks as a safety in the 3rd round of my draft. I love this time of the year, even though I do know the other 2 are just offensive players. But I do like the challenge of the full IDP and trying to structure a 54-man roster with defensive players is awesome. It's so much fun.
You might as well be the New York Giants GM, man. They could use some help.
Hey, could it be worse, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
Well, very cool, man. Yeah, it's that time. Are you in the drafts you're in? Are they no timers on them or like 8-hour clocks? What do you
I
got going
think
on?
each one's an 8-hour clock. But we have kind of like a gentleman's, and no one seems to be abusing it. These have all been around, I think, for 4 or 5 years now, at least. And there's no one who's abusing the clock.
Yeah, that's good. I'm in one no timer. I did one earlier this week that was 5-minute timers. So just it's kind of a mixed bag, right? So we wanted to do a 3-round Superflex rookie mock draft today. We will get into that in just a second. But John, as you mentioned, it's a couple weeks from the NFL draft. What a shakeup, man! Like we were talking about before the show started, you and I just rattling off all these guys who maybe didn't go where we wanted to. Some surprises. So talk to me first. Like, what was your favorite kind of development or landing spot from the draft?
I don't know if this is what other people are thinking, but I had moved Kyle Williams up to number 13 amongst my wide receivers
Okay, wide
pre-draft,
receivers. Okay.
pre-draft. And I had featured him in my sleepers column on Player Profiler. Cheap plug. It's still up there. And when he landed in New England with that draft capital attached to Drake May, Johnny, I fell out of my sleep. Like, I highlight guys who I love. Like, I have my cheat sheet during the draft when I'm watching. And he was one of the guys like, okay, where's he going to go? He lands in an idyllic spot. That is a really soft wide receiver room right now. Like, he really has a path to 115 to 125 targets
Woo!
right away.
As a
And
rookie.
if you watch Drake May, and anyone who knows me, I love college football. I do the pre-draft scouting stuff. Drake May had a guy named Josh Downs at UNC. My friends, you want to see some good tape? Watch Josh Downs in 2022 catching passes from Drake May. Or 2023, I'm sorry. I'm telling you right now, Kyle Williams is the same player. It's going to be pretty in New England with Kyle Williams.
You think they'll deploy him from like a slot role like that, or do you think he'll be a boundary guy?
I think they're going to move him. If they're smart, they're going to
They'll
move
move him
him all
around.
over the field. He can play the Z. Like, I think he could start at the Z. He's not your classic X. I get that. Put someone else at the X. Play him at the Z. You can move him inside. If you want to do 5 snaps a game at the X and the way you're going to rotate your receivers, he can do that for you. I think he's unbelievable, dude. And with Drake May, if Drake May hits his ceiling, now receivers are always dependent on quarterback and scheme, but he's in a really nice quarterback he's attached to. And I think that scheme's going to be interesting. And who are you afraid of on New England at wide receiver?
Right, right. I love Drake May, and I was just smiling while you're talking because I think of the phrase like the sacrificial X, right? Jalen
Yes.
Polk as the sacrificial X. Just send him on go routes,
Just
clear
put
it
him
out
out
for
there. Just leave him out there all day long. Hey,
doing
get some
cardio.
cardio, get some workout in, and let Kyle Williams eat.
That was I'm glad you said that one because everybody's quick to just say RJ Harvey, right? Like I think there were some great landing spots in this draft. But Kyle Williams potentially like almost that perfect sweet spot of like a guy who could have gone. I mean, people were like, is this a second round guy? But at the very beginning of the process, he was off the radar almost complete. It just was, he's had a decent, like, kind of nice little rise here in dynasty value over the past few months,
Johnny, I'll say when Matt, my teammate Matt and I on the rookie big board, when we did the senior bowl preview, I talked up Kyle Williams, and you would have think I was a drunk homeless on the street. Like no one was discussing Kyle Williams in January. And I'm like, no, man, like his film is good.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It's the Washington State offense. I get it. It's a little gimmicky. But man, the more I studied him in the process, I was like, man, this, and the NFL showed me that they like him.
Yeah. I mean, he's electric with the ball in his hands, especially,
awesome.
right? Like, yeah. So that's an exciting one. Talk to me a little bit about like most shocking, maybe most disappointing development from the draft.
Okay. I don't know what the Titans were drinking, because if I had some, I might do it this weekend. To take Khalil Mullins in the 6th round, I don't think there is a bigger clogger, a bigger grinder than Khalil Williams. Like, literally, I had him off the board, dude. I'm a Michigan fan. Let me repeat. I'm a Michigan fan. And I had both Donovan Edwards and Khalil Mullins off of the draft. I was like, they are UDFAs. And if you don't know, Khalil Mullins was a linebacker, people. Donovan Edwards is so bad, they said, all right, Khalil, you want to get in there and grind between the tackles? Here's why this is so important. They took Khalil Mullins before Taj Brooks went to Cincinnati, Damian Martinez went to Seattle, Brashard Smith went to Kansas City. Like, literally, what are you drinking that you think Khalil Mullins can play football for you? I mean, he can't get 2 yards. He has no oomph. He has no upside. I mean, he has no lateral quickness. He looks like a Mack truck in quicksand trying to jump to the outside. The vision, he just doesn't have the reps. I mean, Todd Brooks and Damian Martinez are light years ahead of him.
Yeah. Wow. I love that answer too, man. And I love the passion you're bringing to the show. I mean, for all the viewers, like John knows ball, man. This guy has some of the best articles that we come out with at Player Profiler, just deep analysis of the entire rookie class. So encourage you guys to look into some of his articles. But yeah, man, I'll just quickly say for me, it was Damian Martinez, to your point, falling all the way to the 7th round. Like there had to have been some character issues there. So there had to have been something off the field because the tape, the production, the metrics just don't show a 7th round running back. So kind of sad for him.
Tape of Damian Martinez and watch tape of Khalil Mullins and come to the conclusion that Khalil Mullins is a better player. I just don't understand it, dude.
Yeah, and then just sticking on the Titans for a second, drafting DK ahead of Io Manor, right?
That's
drafting
weird.
I kind of was out there and said, if they didn't draft him, DK, and in the 4th, and they didn't pick him, period, like would another team have drafted him, or would he have been a UDFA? Like that might be a little bit of a spicy take there, but I think he's outproduced by Badger at UF. More of just like a deep threat. And they kind of called that. They're like, oh, we love having a guy who can stretch the field. And it's like, it was less than 1/10 of a second difference in 40 times between him and Elijah Badger. And so anyways, don't want to get too down a road there, but to your point, some interesting picks from the Titans during their draft. So love that. I'll have to go back and do a little history on Khalil Mullins because to your point, I do see they've got Tajay Spears and they've got Pollard as kind of those like lightning guys. Maybe they really see like a former linebacker as a potential, yin to the yang, but that one, I wasn't even. I was just like, whatever.
I would say this: if the Titans would take Damian Martinez, I would be drafting him in every dynasty league
Right,
because of what you just said. The
right,
yin to the yang. Tajay Spears can't stay on the field. Tony Pollard's undersized, and I like Tony Pollard,
yeah,
a
right,
very good back. But Martinez would have served the role in the offense.
right,
I don't think Khalil Mullins can do it. That's all.
right.
Like I don't understand.
Well, cool, man. I love those. So we're gonna get this draft going here. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. So again, we're gonna be doing a 12-team, 3-round rookie mock. Now this is my last mock that I did with my last guest, Matt. We did 10-team, just QB standard, single QB standard PPR. This one's for my funny friends. We've got a 12-team Superflex full point tight end premium here. So one catch for a tight end is 2 fantasy points and 6-point passing touchdowns. So bit wonky. I am in a league. I'm in this exact format, and we haven't drafted yet. So I thought I will selfishly try and glean something from this, but for other viewers in similar formats, hopefully this is good for you guys as well. So, John, I mean, do you want to go first, or do you want the first pick, or do you want to go second?
Let's just keep it so simple and we move on. It's Ashton Genty.
Okay,
I
would have
know
picked
that.
him too.
Yeah, I don't care about the scoring system. He could be a star. In my last 12 years, he's my 5th rated pre-draft running back. So I got Genty number 1.
Okay, I will go second, and I will not beat the dead drum over and over because I did the mock before. Single QB Superflex similarly does not matter for me what format. I am taking Travis Hunter. There's a bit of homerism in this. I am a CU fan. I'm born in Colorado, but I mean, this is just a dream spot for him. He lands in an offense where they want him to, or a team, they want him to be primarily an offensive weapon. Just the way they talk about this guy gets me juiced. I don't know if you saw James Gladstone talking about like, he is going to make people question their purpose on earth type of thing. Like, I love when you get beyond like, he's a really good football player. Like, he's going to redefine the way we look at the sport. Like, I actually somewhat agree with all of that. And if I had the 101, I'd be struggling not to take him 101, man. I promise. Like, I know I'm high on him. I know that. So anyways, that's why I always let everyone else pick first, because I don't want to be the idiot who does a mock and doesn't pick Genty 101. So I'll kick it over to you for pick 3.
I have him at number 4. So it's not, I can't disagree with you. I'm going to take what I think, because value matters. I'm taking Cam Ward. He's going to hold value as a quarterback in the Superflex. He's the first pick overall. He's going to get 2 years as the starter, barring something really crazy, but he's a good prospect. He's going to get a runway of 32 starts, or actually 34, barring injury. So when you can get a starter with that type of runway ahead of you, the value remains. And if he shows any promise, you can always flip him very quickly. Like if he goes out and throws for 3,300 yards and 20 touchdowns as a rookie, that value is going to stay there.
Yep. Yeah. And again, I think that would be where I lean as well with pick 3, just because of that 6-point passing touchdown format. Like, you could maybe make some arguments for a 4-point passing touchdown league, like, depending on how many you're starting, like, is it more valuable to have another guy like Omarion Hampton there? But I would lean Ward there as well. For the 4th pick, boy, it does get tough for me here. I will take Hampton. Think, whenever you get a running back with 1st-round draft capital in an offense that is going to pound the football, that's great. My one concern with Hampton is, like, I saw some kind of historics of when the Ravens drafted J.K. Dobbins under the Greg Roman offense, and Gus Edwards had more carries that rookie year than Dobbins, right? And I think that's almost, I don't want to say that's what I expect is Najee to get more carries than Hampton, but I expect it to be closer of a split than maybe the fantasy community wants. But that being said, you can't avoid this guy as a top end fantasy asset for years to come. So I'll take him at 104 here.
I love Hampton there, and it's definitely more of a dynasty pick. I think he'll be better in 2026 than he is in 2025. This is the hardest spot. I really think this is the hardest pick in the whole draft right now. My brain says T-Mac.
Yep.
But this is a running back class. My soul says RJ Harvey.
Oh,
RJ Harvey here.
Let's go.
I'm being true to my rankings. I have RJ Harvey at number 5. And if you read everything that Sean Payton says about RJ Harvey, he absolutely loves him. I had Harvey at number 6 pre-draft as my running back. He got even better draft capital. I thought that maybe teams might be worried he's a little bit older of a prospect, but you know what? He's got 3 good years in him. Who cares what happens in 2029? Look, he's going to get the rock. Denver's running backs are bad. He's going to get the rock out there. I love him here. So I know it's hard, but I got Harvey above T-Mac.
This is an interesting one for sure. Easily the best landing spot for running back in the draft. I didn't know that. I put out a poll to my followers like, hey, where's the best spot? Thinking it's either going to be Pittsburgh or Dallas, but I included the Broncos. And 80% of the poll results were Broncos. People like wasn't even close. It was not 33, 33, 33, not an even split. It was everyone thinks that this is the best spot for a running back to land. And, you know, there's not a lot of competition there. Like Jaleel McLaughlin, I'll say it. He was miserable last year. Like the yards per reception was miserable. The yards per route run. And I think that's what people kind of think, oh, this guy, he's going to, you know, he's their passing down guy. Like I don't think he was going to be, even if they moved on from Harvey. I wrote an article before the draft saying, I'm not sure McLaughlin isn't the odd man out coming into this offseason. Like I think Harvey will be their early down back. Mix in some Audric Estime. And then I know that Sean Payton likes Tyler Bidet as well and was actually more productive and very limited. He dealt with an injury that ended his season. But I say all that just because, this is Harvey's backfield. Estime might steal some goal line work, some short yardage work, but it's wheels up for Harvey. And especially you look at one guy who, you know, could finish at the top end of outcomes this year. Like it's certainly him. We talked about Hampton being kind of a future pick. I think Harvey's a great pick if you're looking to win next year. So love that pick. A little higher than maybe I would expect him to go. I will take T-Mac here in a hurry, right? If T-Mac falls to me and in this format, I'd love to have him. 8th overall pick in the draft. Like whenever you get a wide receiver with top end draft capital, early declare, and the type of production that he has, they're almost can't miss prospects. And so I'd love, you know, I think this is people talk bad about this class. I think it shows it's a relatively deep class when you can get a guy like Tet at 106. So over to you for 107.
This is a tough spot in the tight end premium because you have to consider one of these tight ends. Now, normally I would have taken one of the two big tight ends. I don't like their landing spots right now. I do have concerns about them. So I'm going to be conservative here. I love Caleb Johnson in Pittsburgh. I think his floor is so high, my friend. His ceiling might be a little capped in that Arthur Smith, but who knows how long Arthur Smith's going to be there if they don't make the playoffs. So I'm going Caleb Johnson here. He's my number 7 on my board. I'm going to stay true to my board. I love Caleb Johnson.
I love it. I think he's just like that 3rd round draft capital kind of took me back. Like I was surprised that he went after Harvey. And it was kind of funny. You watched, like, I just was looking at his keep trade cut values the other day. Like, it was going down, down, down as like on April 25th, like day 2 of the draft. They're like, man, this guy hasn't gotten picked yet. Like, this is bad. This is bad. And then he goes to the Steelers and his value bumps right back up, right? Because this is the perfect landing spot
It
for a guy
is.
like him. You could easily see him walking in to 20 plus carries a game by the end of his rookie season. I was lucky enough in a single QB league, I got him at pick 10. So I felt really good about that non-tight end premium. So I hope, since I'm invested in him, I hope you're right on that. I don't know if I could have taken him over a guy like Travion, just because I love that second round draft capital. I think it's a good landing spot. I think he will quickly be kind of the guy ahead of Stevenson. And again, I just think if you look back at just like the hype that Travion had coming after his freshman year, it's crazy kind of how he's kind of gone through some trials and tribulations, right, over the past couple of years. But I think he's a great pass protector, great in the passing game, and an explosive runner. So a guy I would be happy to have in as many drafts as possible. And most of the drafts I'm in, I'm not seeing him fall this late because it seems like there's someone obsessed with him in every draft I'm in. So happy to take him here. And now back to you at 109.
I could see someone with the PPR upside choosing Henderson over Caleb Johnson. I would understand that. But I think the range of outcomes is greater for Trevion Henderson than it is for Caleb. So I'm going to go a little security there. Now, I can't bypass the tight end here. I don't know if this is normal, but my number one tight end is still Tyler Warren.
Okay.
I seem to be a little bit in the minority there. So I'll take Tyler Warren. I think his ceiling is so high. I get it. Like, is he going to get the carries and touches and the Wildcat and all that? But man, if they get that quarterback figured out in Indianapolis, it might not be pretty this year, but down the road, I really like Tyler Warren. So I'm going to take him here.
Yeah, man. I have been kind of vocal of like, I'm a Loveland guy. I stuck my neck out before the draft and said that he was going to be the first tight end drafted. And I think it was like 7-1 odds that was the case. Like, the money was on Tyler Warren. And so kind of interested. I was like very happy to just be like, all right, I'm not totally freaking crazy here. Right. But it would be really interesting to see someone like Warren actually, to your point, get some Wildcat usage, get some tush push snaps. Like I heard someone say that and I couldn't unsee it. And I'm like, man, if this guy scores 3 rushing touchdowns, like that could be really interesting when you look at how that impacts like his overall, fantasy output. So definitely a guy who is interesting in a variety of ways in an offense. To your point, just sticking with the theme here of like tight ends starting to go off a board, big premium on tight ends. This is the 10th overall pick in the draft. And to get him at pick 110 in a tight end premium, I think is such a discount here. The landing spot, it's a little crowded, right? With all those pass catchers, DJ Moore, Luther Burden, Rome Odunze, all in Chicago. But he's also got Ben Johnson scheming up the plays, who made second round draft pick Sam Laporta look pretty dang good the past few years. So I'll take Loveland here.
I think this is where the tight end should be off the board. This is pick 10, right?
Yep.
In every tight end premium, they're going to be gone by pick 10. So I think we did it correct here. Now's a tough spot. And it's tough because I don't like the landing spot of one of my running backs here. And I'm going to be patient. And I was telling you before the show, we were talking off air, and I mentioned I have 3 drafts so far. In 2 of the 3, I've gotten my guy here, Emeka Ibuka.
Oh, yeah.
I love him as a playoff team. I'm not convinced Chris Godwin is 100% healthy. And Michael Evans is on the wrong side of 30. And he's been unbelievable. He's a Hall of Famer. He's in that top 10 receivers I've ever seen play in NFL. His consistency, Super Bowl title, just 1,000-yard seasons, but Father Time never loses. I love Emeka Buka 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, man, let's put all the talk to rest. Like, I hate when I see those posts like, oh, Mike Evans isn't a Hall of Famer. Like,
Oh,
he's
he is.
never been top 3 in his position. It's like, I have no words for those people who say that stuff, because it's like, I've also never looked at someone who, you just look at his career stats, and I
They're
don't care if
insane.
we're playing 17 game seasons. The guy is a lock for 1,000 yards every year. Like, that's special. That's
Yeah.
extremely special. So, but I agree with you. I said this on a recent episode. I think that Godwin will probably move more to like a Z flanker role, just to kind of stay out of the slot and hopefully stay away from some of those middle of the field hits.
Traffic.
I think Ibuka is going to actually fit into that slot role probably as soon as his rookie year, and that could be very good for fantasy. So I like that pick a lot. I will admit, I'm interested. You said you didn't like the landing spots of one of the running backs, and Judkins is the guy here, right? So I'm taking Judkins at 112 because I like the landing spot. It's a Browns team that likes to pound the rock, and I could see them using as a workhorse. But can you talk to me a little bit, maybe why you're not seeing that the same way?
Dylan Sampson.
Okay, you think Dylan Sampson will eat into his work, huh?
Just enough, right?
Yeah.
I think Quinshon Judkins is a volume back. And what if you take away 4 carries a game and 1 or 2 catches, and that could make such a huge difference? And I think Cleveland could be really bad. That's a tough division. So I've been playing fantasy football since 1989, and I've been watching football since 1977. How often do you see a running back get double-digit touchdowns on a bad team?
Yeah.
They just don't get into the red zone enough. So
Right.
if they don't get that quarterback, and I mean, they got 5. Maybe they find one, like I don't know. But like, if they don't get that quarterback figured out, how many opportunities is he really going to see? So that's why I'm very confident Egbuka is a really good NFL player. I think the team, I can't believe I'm saying this, Tampa Bay's been a pretty solid organization over the last decade.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's in the better spot with an organization I trust more.
No, your logic there is very valid, and I think to your point, the Browns could be playing a lot of like shootout, playing catch up, which is a passing game script, and then you start seeing Sampson out there on the passing downs, and then the next thing you know, like, screw double-digit touchdowns. Maybe there's some games where Judkins is struggling to see double-digit carries, right? Just because they're playing so much catch up. So, yeah, no, it's a valid point. It is a deep, deep running back class too, right? So, interesting to see you pick guys like Caleb Johnson over him, guys like RJ Harvey, because they didn't get picked ahead of him in the draft, right? But to your point, like going late in the second, like Harvey did to the Broncos, he's going to a better team with a better offensive line, and the situation is that much better, right? So we're going to get into the second round here in just a second, but first we will run a quick promo.
Rookie. It's all about rookie talk in fantasy football right now, so why not go use all that knowledge to do something other than a mock draft? Chris Jimino won $8,000 with just 2 teams last year, and each draft took 5 minutes. That's pretty good ROI. You can start doing rookie drafts for money today on Fast Draft. The Origins tournament is live. It is the place to go and monetize your knowledge of rookies, and use your favorite Player Profiler host promo code for a $25 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
I absolutely love Fast Draft. This is, if you want to do mocks that are for money and they're not mocks, and play some rookie best ball, strongly encourage you to check out Fast Draft in the Rookie Origins tournament. I am on the clock here at 2:01. It's I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna color outside the lines here, okay? Because I can. So 6 point passing touchdown. But if I'm on the clock here, I'm a little nervous to go and reach for someone like Jackson Dart or Tyler Shook. I am fully convicted in this guy's talent. I'm taking Luther Burden here. I think he could be the Amon Ra role in that Ben Johnson offense and just really blow people away. And so I'm swinging for the fences here. I'm betting on the talent, and I'm taking Burden.
I got to say one thing for our viewers. I'm all in on Caleb Williams. I'm going to have him in every draft. I just took him in an eliminator draft in the second round. Now, it's 17 teams and it's a super flex, so quarterbacks go faster. But I am all in. Everyone loves Ben Johnson. They love Colston Loveland. They love Burden. Well, there's only one guy that I want, and that is my man Caleb. I am all in, folks. So you got a little insight there. So now is an interesting spot. I don't like the quarterbacks here either. There's no way I'm going Dart this early. Tight ends. Do I want to go a tight end here? There's a first-round receiver. I'm sorry. The opportunities are going to be there. I like the organization. I like the coach. I like the quarterback, even though he had a down year. Go Matthew Golden. I can't bypass the wide receiver with first-round draft capital in the second round of a dynasty draft.
Yeah, I completely understand, man. The production, like the advanced metrics, are a little lacking for his profile, right? But when you get that first round draft capital, you run a sub 4.3, and there's already reports leaking out that they could make some of their veteran receivers expendable over the next couple of months. Like that was something that came. Now this is all just kind of whispers from the media, and it's to be taken with a grain of salt. But I think what is keeping people from pushing Golden up further is kind of that like crowd of, you got Romeo Dobbs, Wicks, Watson's recovering, but he's on the team, right? You got Jaden Reed. So it's like, man, this guy's kind of one of 5 rotational wide receivers in people's minds right now. But if he is in an every down role, then in a passing offense and an offense that scores points like Green Bay, he can't go later than this. So I agree with that. This is where it gets kind of tough, to your point. Like you start looking at, okay, well, it's a 6-point passing touchdown. So you almost, even if you think the quarterbacks are ugly, you got to start looking at them. I personally am going to go with tight end here because full point premium, right? Again, one pass is 2 points. And at this point, you're looking at other second round players. Higgins, Harris, Bash all went in the second round, all potential options here. But I'm going to lean tight end here because he also went in the second round. Mason Taylor to the Jets is clearly going to be their starting tight end week 1. It's either him or Stone Smart, and I don't think it's going to be Stone Smart. Justin Fields throwing to him, but he's made Cole Kmet look good in the past. I think Mason Taylor in a tight end premium format like this could be a top 12 scorer potentially. So I'm happy to take him here.
I was going to take Mason Taylor, so you sniped me on that one. I think that's a good pick. I can't take a rookie quarterback here who's going to sit for a whole year if things go the way so I'm not going Jackson Dart. So now this is such a hard pick. I previewed this. I'm going Kyle Williams. I'm not going to leave a draft without Kyle Williams.
Let's go.
I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I think he's got a really good opportunity in New England. I love the film. I love the production, and the landing spot is just optimal. I really think he gets 100 targets minimum his rookie year.
I will say, like, if this is probably the best insight we can give to the viewers is look at the ADP for Kyle Williams real quick. 328.
What is it right now?
Well, it's all messed up in
Oh,
Sleeper is the point, and a lot of people are drafting on Sleeper. His ADP is at 328, putting him all the way after LaQuint Allen, Riley Leonard. So my point is, the smart players will go and snipe this guy out. I got him in the late third in a. They're not fantasy football experts. It's a buddy league. And that's my point. If you're in a league with your buddies, this guy's going to fall because they're going to be going off of these top ADPs and they're going to have to scroll pretty far down to find Kyle Williams. So I have been getting him in almost every draft as well at a bit of a discount because, again, if you're in a league where you're not playing with fantasy experts, he's kind of buried in ADP on Sleepers. So just something to be mindful of. Don't let the middle or the end of the second pass and go into the third round and you be the idiot that didn't notice that he's buried in ADP on here, because this is right around where he should be going. I got to go with my guy next here. I got to go with Trey Harris. He's just been all the way at the top for me of my wide receiver evaluations from the beginning of the process. I like the draft capital. I like the landing spot. I think he could get some tutelage from Mike Williams being back in Los Angeles. I don't think Mike Williams will be a threat to him on the boundary, but I think that's kind of the role I envision for him, is being that that X who actually isn't just a sacrificial X and sees the ball because he's got a guy like Justin Herbert who can get it to him. So I'll take Harris here.
Ooh, I keep ending up in these conundrums that I don't always know how to resolve. However, I do think you have to take Jaden Higgins of the Texans at this point. I don't. He has the higher draft capital. He has C.J. Stroud at quarterback. I have some questions about his ability to separate, but he's in a really good spot, and I believe the simpatico with Nico Collins, these two big receivers. However, I want to say one thing. They are similar in size, but they're not similar in play style. They are almost exact opposites. Nico wins deep. Higgins wins in the short and the media area. That's why I like the two of them together. People keep kind of just looking at their size. I get their twin towers, but they are very different skill sets, which I think is important.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Higgins a lot. Definitely another guy who soared up draft boards throughout the whole process, right? Like the combine, he blew people away. I don't know if anybody going into the draft thought, oh, this is like an early second round pick, especially going ahead of someone like Luther Burden, right? Who just has that pedigree coming out of high school as a 5-star recruit. So Higgins has certainly been an impressive guy to kind of track over the past few months, and just seeing him earn that draft capital. So now I think I got to do it, dude. Like, just for the sake of being fair to the viewers, like, it's gross, but this guy has a really, really, really good shot to be a week 1 starter for the New Orleans Saints. And if he's not starting week 1, he's starting before the end of the season. Like, I was on the Rattler train. I wanted to believe in Rattler. He had some decent tape in his rookie year, but he also had some really bad struggles. So I'm taking Tyler Shough above Jackson Dart because of what you mentioned. Like, with Jameis and Russell Wilson there, I think it's just a tough it's a gauntlet for Jackson Dart to be a starter in his rookie season. He'll probably get some run before the end of the season, but I like Tyler Shough's ability to potentially be starting week 1. And again, in a 6-point passing touchdown league, throwing to guys like Chris Olave and Brandon Cooks, and having Alvin Kamara as a safety valve, like, not the worst offense for a rookie to inherit. So I'll take Tyler Shough here.
You left my other guy I love in this draft. We haven't mentioned yet. Faishel Tootin of Jacksonville.
You're taking Tootin?
I would absolutely be ecstatic to get Tootin here in every draft. I have no confidence that Travis Etienne is going to turn it around. New coaching staff, new system. I'm not really worried about the Auburn running back, Tank Bigsby. I think he has some goal line, short yardage upside. Look at what Liam Cohen did last year with Bucky Irvin. If Bashal Tootin is that Bucky Irvin guy for Cohen, this is wheels up for this young man. He has a pathway to 170 carries and like 40 catches. I love him here, so I'm going to go Tootin.
I love it. He's got, to your point, there's a bit of ambiguity there. I think that leads to a bit of the discount of getting him this late. But who knows if Travis Etienne is on the Jaguars week 1, right? Like,
yeah,
we just don't know. So I will, you know what? I'll be honest. I think this is the first mock, maybe not, but I see Cam going a lot ahead of him. And I like Cam. I like Scattaboo. Not a burner, but I think his play style can translate. Like, I think he can be a thumper, a guy who can challenge Tyrone Tracy for that starting running back role and carve out a meaningful fantasy relevant role. So these two, I think, are usually pretty close together. And, I think they were drafted 1 pick apart as well, both early 4th round picks. So kind of pick your poison there. I like that you leaned with the guy who has a bit more juice and speed, but I love watching Scattaboo's tape. Like, he kind of reminds me of rookie year Kareem Hunt, just in terms of that contact balance, and like could so see him like hurdling a guy and carrying 3 defenders into the end zone. And I'd just be like, yeah, that's just like Kareem Hunt did, like same type of style to their play. So I'll take Scattaboo here.
I can't pass up the quarterback any longer. I hope I'm never in this choice, but I'm a playoff team if I'm team 10. Yep. I'm going Jackson Dart. Hope he doesn't get on the field so he retains a lot of value in New York. I mean, I just think you can't pass up the quarterback here.
Yeah, put him on ice a little bit, right?
Yes.
And to your point, like when you get a 1st round quarterback, if they don't play their rookie year, their fantasy value like stays flat / like could slightly increase. Like, so
look at JJ McCarthy, and he's not JJ McCarthy, but JJ McCarthy's essentially got the same value. He's never even been on the field.
Right. So I agree. He had to go at a certain point. I do think I think you and I are savvy, but I think in real drafts, like these quarterbacks will go a bit earlier in the second. But this is probably like, if you're not a quarterback needy, you and I aren't doing this mock from a position of need, right? So
yes,
but I think that's good to do for the viewers, is just show them like, hey, shake you out of like the hole that you're living in where you need a quarterback. Like, these guys should not be going ahead of some of these other players who, have better potentials to be like star players in the NFL. So, okay, well, I get tempted to take another quarterback here, but I got to go with my boy, Jack Besh. Like, again, another 2nd round receiver. I believe that's the last of the 2nd round receivers on the board. And it's a good landing spot. Chip Kelly's going to be running that offense in Las Vegas. Jacoby Myers is a great player, but he's not like a bona fide wide receiver 1. I think it could be an interesting setup with Besh, Bowers, Jacoby Myers, and that Besh could be, I said this on a recent episode, I'll say it again, almost like a Devontae Adams light near the red zone, someone they target in goal line scenarios. He's got good footwork near the end zone, ability to go up for those contested catches. So I like Jack Besh, and I'm going to take him here.
You left me my guy who I wanted to talk about. And when you get the tight end premium, I'm going Terrence Ferguson.
Oh, that's a good one.
Idyllic spot with Sean McVay as his coach. We don't necessarily know what's going to happen long-term. Matthew Stafford's still there, but I don't know if he's going to be there in 2026. But I think McVay will figure out the quarterback position. I have enough confidence that he will. And Ferguson he fits that offensive style. I mean, look at what Tyler Higbee can do at times. And I think Ferguson is way better than Tyler Higbee as a prospect. So I love this landing spot for the Rams.
Yeah, honestly, I think he probably slipped as I'm looking through this board because you think of like taking Taylor early in the second. If you're getting Ferguson all the way at the end, like he's in a better offense than
That's
Mason
the
Taylor. The one thing that gave me pause was Les Snead said something recently like, "Oh, he could eventually take over Tyler Higbee." Like when Tyler Higbee's career is over, he said something to that tune, and I think that took the wind out of people's sails because like the day after he was drafted, it was like, "Oh, can you just imagine McVay talking to Les Snead about his vision for Ferguson, almost like that video of how he's explaining his vision for Puka." And I was like,
yeah.
wheels up, you know? And then Snead a few days later is like, yeah, like, you know, maybe one day he'll take over for Higbee. So that kind of hinted at me like Higbee might be who they start off with, you know, but I think it's only a matter of time to your point where Ferguson seizes that role. I will say, I agree. Like Higbee, bit of a jag throughout his career, but when he came back at the end of last season, heavily targeted in the playoffs, he's a guy I made in my article. I said we got to stash this guy. Like, don't he's not very high rostered, but I think Higbee is a sneaky stash, especially at the beginning of the season, just as Ferguson does get more acclimated. So, okay, we're through 2 rounds. I got to go with a guy. He's at the top here. The upside's ridiculous. Got to go with Jalen Milroe. I'm not sold on Sam Darnold in Seattle. I think Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer and was able to get the best out of Darnold. Think he could struggle in Seattle again, and think Milroe could start seeing time. You never know. Too, he's like one injury away from being thrown into being thrown into a starting role. And again, with his upside, with his legs, that just equals fantasy cheat code. So to your point, like sometimes you're looking at this, like if I'm picking 101, I'm probably like in this weird rebuild type of phase and might have been considering Cam Ward at the 101, but I had to take Gaston Genti. And then again, I passed it on quarterback for Burden in the second. So I got to get a quarterback with some high-end upside here, and I'm taking Milroe.
Hey, I love the swing for the upside here. I think 3rd round is a fair value in a super flex for Jalen Milroe. You just have to be comfortable. He's probably not playing this year. And I think he needs the redshirt season. He needs to learn this. So I think this could be a good thing in the long term. So I'm going to pretend this is a real team right now. And we've acquired Hunter and Golden. There's no way I'm going another receiver. I'm going to maybe shock people here. I'm going to go for the grand slam or I'm going to strike out. I'm going Jaden Blue.
There it
Dallas
is.
Cowboys. I mean, on a team in which I've gotten Hunter and Golden, 2 first-round wide receivers, give me the upside PPR running back in Dallas, right? I think there's I can afford to take the swing because I feel real good with Hunter and Golden.
Yep. No, I agree. Again, reports coming out like this guy could be the RB1 before the season's over. I think anybody with eyes and a brain could tell you that, like Javonte Williams is just miserable. You and I, John, both Broncos fans, we had to suffer through that. Like whatever. I made a joke. I'm like, if you're starting running back as Javonte Williams, give me a call. Like I'll start doing leg day. I'll start working on my jump cuts, and I will compete for a spot. So, I love that pick for upside, especially in a PPR format where he's got pass catching juice, man. So again, tight end premium, full point. I got to go with the 2nd round tight end here, Elijah Arroyo. I think he might have an even better chance than Ferguson to be like the day 1 starter. I guess to your point, like if we're looking at this as a real team, are you taking 2 tight ends? And the answer is kind of yes, because in this same format, I have started a tight end as my tight end and my flex and my super flex in weeks where I've been without a quarterback, because if they catch 5 passes for 50 yards, that's 15 fantasy points, right? So like that'll play. And I think in that type of format, you cannot be too strong at tight end. So I also think this is just a great spot to get a second round tight end this late in the draft. So I got to take him here.
I was eyeballing him. I personally do like Ferguson more than Arroyo.
Me too.
But I'm not. That doesn't seem to be the case for most analysts. So I do understand people might go Arroyo over Ferguson, but I prefer Ferguson. So I might shock everyone here, and I can't believe I'm going to say it, but it's a quarterback super flex. And I do think we got some pretty good news over the weekend. I'm going to take the home run swing here. I'm going Shedeur Sanders.
Let's go. What was the news you're referring to?
People were happy with him at the training camp. Like he threw some good balls. He was involved in the offense. It appears that maybe he put aside that bodacious personality. I get it. I understand where it comes from, but you're still a rookie in the NFL. Open your ears, do some listening, and you might have a really good chance in the long run. So I think if you can get a starting quarterback. Now, I had a second round grade. I got to be honest. I had Dart ranked ahead of him. I never thought he'd slip that far.
Yeah.
If I'm getting Shedeur Sanders now in round 3 of a super flex, and I was happy with the reports this weekend in Cleveland, I'll take the shot, my friend.
Yeah, I like it. I think that people are just writing him off, but it's so like this is the guy who is supposed to be him or Cam for the first pick.
Yes.
Right? And now you're getting him in the mid-third of rookie drafts in a super flex league. So
yeah,
you're going to take that discount, right? So, all right, we'll do rapid fire with these last 8 picks here. So I will, I got to go with my guy here. I'm a big fan of the talent. I'm not sure that Christian Kirk has as much juice as people think. And I think Noel is just he's a competitive guy. He's going to go out there every day and try and earn a role. I think of when the Texans took Tank Dell, and he proved it in training camp. And by the time the regular season came around his rookie year, he was out there. He was playing meaningful snaps, and he had to work his way up. I think Noel can do the same thing. And if not, I think he's even in a better position going into 2026. Kirk's on a 1-year deal. After that, who's his competition in the slot, right? So I would like to see Higgins get used as kind of a power slot guy, but I think with them having Kirk and Jalen Noel and the way they drafted these guys, it's kind of indicative that they see Higgins being like an outside guy and Noel being their slot guy of the future. So I love the talent. I'm happy to take him here. I think he's definitely slipped a little bit just because the draft capital wasn't quite what we wanted, and the landing spot is a little crowded, right? With Iowa State being the second Iowa State receiver taken to that team. So
on my next pick here, and I like to look, I want to help viewers. I would never take 3 wide receivers in a row. So what I'm going to do here is he might not be the highest ranked player on my board, but I'm going Dylan Sampson. I mentioned him before. He's only 20 years old, my friend. He's 20. I mean, he's going to be 22 2 years from now. We have running backs who are now 23 entering. I still see a ceiling with him. So I'll take their top graded running back who I have remaining on the board, Dylan Sampson.
Love it. Yeah, he's someone who I had as my RB5 before the draft. Certainly fell a little bit in the draft, but it's not a terrible landing spot. To your point, he could have a meaningful role in year 1, and if Judkins deals with injury, it's not a deep running back room. I certainly think he'll be leaned on more than Jerome Ford, so I love that pick. I'm going to go with Pat Bryant here.
Oh, you took him. I can't believe I'm getting sniped in a mock draft again.
And I'm not sure. I bet you he was buried in ADP too. Like I wish I would have looked before I clicked, but I'm sure he was way down there. But again, 3rd round draft capital. Sean Payton saying he reminds him of Michael Thomas. There's not a lot of it's not a scary wide receiver room. I do like Marvin Mims and Sutton, but I'm happy to take Bryant here for the potential.
So I was going to take Pat Bryant with this team with 2 running backs. So I'm not going to take a third running back because I do want to have people understand. I'm going to go with my sleeper, and you're going to have to be patient. I'm going Ty Felton.
Why do you say I got to be? Oh, if you get him, people who sign him or people who draft him have to be patient.
Yes,
yeah,
because you do have a crowded wide. You got Justin Jefferson, I get it, and Jordan Addison. But I like this player. I think they have plans long-term with Ty Felton. And I got 2 running backs earlier. So I'll go with my highest graded receiver on the board.
Okay, I love it. That's an interesting one. And if you're coloring outside the box, man, I'm gonna do the same a little bit. I might typically lean a receiver here because there's one that I have a bit higher on my board than this guy. But in terms of just upside, I got to go Jarquez Hunter. Like they traded up to get this guy. So I just keep sniping you over and over.
I would have taken Jarquez, but I can't go 3 running backs.
Oh, that's who your pick would have been. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a beast. He's a beast. And hearing McVay call him a stud and a man's man is about all I needed to hear. So I'm going Jarquez here.
All right. I'm going to go then. At this point, I like to flag plant, but I also like to build a team. I'm going Taj Brooks here. I think he's the best value late. I think you might get him in the 4th round, but don't be afraid late 3rd round to go take Taj Brooks. I love him in Cincinnati.
Wow. Okay, I like that one. I'm gonna make a bold one here. And, there's some other guys. Like I said, I have a receiver who might be a little higher on my board. I'll just call him out, Jalen Royals. But I'm going to take Giddens here just because Giddens, I think he should have went higher than round 5. And he's one Jonathan Taylor injury away from, being in a very meaningful role in that Indianapolis offense. And Jonathan Taylor hasn't shown an ability to stay healthy. So if we're only doing 3 rounds, I got to take this guy before the end of it. So that'll be my last pick. And over to you, John, for your last pick.
I can't go quarterback here, and I can't go tight end.
You can go whatever you want.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with my highest graded receiver remaining, Alec Ayamanor. I get that Shamari DK got higher draft capital, but I still like Alec Ayamanor better.
Awesome, man. Surprised. What about Jalen Royals?
Oh, I do like Jalen Royals.
You have Ayamanor a little higher?
Yeah, because he's an X. He's a classic X, and I think the Titans need that guy who you can put out on the boundary, and he's going to have a specific role. He's really good outside the boundary and running deep patterns. So even if they're not throwing him the ball, he's going to get a lot of cardio earlier in his career, where I just don't know if Jalen Royals, that locker room could be pretty crowded, right? Yep. In Kansas City. Xavier Worthy, there's good reports about Rice right now.
Brown, yeah. They have capable wide receiver room as it is. I agree.
That's the problem in my book.
Yeah. Okay. Well, man, this is a beautiful board. Hopefully they hang it in the Louvre one day or something like that. Thank you so much for joining the show. And viewers, if you like this, comment, subscribe, ask any questions you have in the comments for John and I. We will do our best to respond to those. John, where can the people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Gridiron Scholar. Sorry, Gridiron Scholar 91. I couldn't afford the A and the R when I signed up 14 years ago. So it's Gridiron Scholar 91. And you can see all my written work is on Player Profiler now. I have post-draft rankings, pre-draft rankings, and then we just updated as a team, right, Johnny? All of our post-draft rookie rankings are coming out. So everything's on Player Profiler for you guys.
Best of luck in your fantasy drafts, everyone, and we will see you next time.